there, I'm Jade from So Creative, and today we're looking at the JANOME 6234XL overlocker. So this one sits as a really good mid-range overlocker. That's kind of the one before you get to the air thread. So it's a kind of nice heavy duty model. Feature-wise, like any other overlocker really, we've got 4 threads, but we could use 3 or 2. It's nice that we've got very good visuals here for our stitch length, which are changed at the side on these knobs, and our differential feed. We've got a standard and a rolled hem switch, so that's quite nice as well. When we're doing the rolled hem, we don't have to worry about any other tensions other than removing the stitch finger. Nicely colour coded. I'll show you this. It's a little accessories pack as well. So this comes with all that's the little thing that you put in the looper to go to 2 thread. Got various needle threaders and all your screwdrivers and bits and pieces that you need there. So that's rather nice because it just fits inside the drip tray. So take that off for now. We'll take the tray off, and we've got our lovely markings here as standard. So if you're doing straight stitching with your straight onto your dressmaking patterns, you've got your various markings there, and you've also got the little notches here on the foot, so they always show where the needles are going to hit, which is always good if you're just using it as a visual, perhaps finishing off seams and you want to make sure that your needle or your overlocking is not going over the seam that you've already done. Typical lovely quality build of the JANOME, and we're colour coded as always. So we've got our lower looper in green, upper looper red, right needle in blue, and our left needle in orange. So in this video we're going to show you how to thread and then kind of leave it at that, but I will also show you how to do various functions like remove the blade, etc. So I haven't had this machine for very long, so we've only used it a couple of times. I'm just going to do a quick test sew. So this is where it's set up, ready for just a standard overlock. I'm going to show you it white on the navy, so hopefully you'll be able to see. The presser foot is already down. I tend to not lift that up necessarily unless I'm threading, but literally I just sort of grab, I'll show you again, I'll just grab the fabric a little bit underneath that foot, so as the blade that's here has got something to chomp. I don't want to push the fabric right under, otherwise it may make the blade stuck with too much fabric underneath. So here I'm going to go, it'll probably be quite noisy. I'm just going to press onto my foot pedal and when you get to the end you chain off. So foot pedal on, and then there's a thread cutter at the side. I can just pull it up and pull. So that chain is there. As you see, it's a beautiful overlock stitch, which only you would expect from JANOME. What we're going to do now is I'll just show you some of the features in here. So if we open up, you can see that that's where the blade is, and this is our rolled hem stitch finger. So we can open up the left hand side as well on this machine, which is great access for cleaning, because no matter what a small amount of overlocking you do, it will soon become very, very dusty. So to take this blade away, so sometimes you may not need the blade, or sometimes I remove the blade for threading, which I'm going to do in a moment. I push that in and you'll see that the blade pushes out. So you push it in and twist. So there we are, the blade is now tucked out of the way. So if you've only got a tiny seam and you don't want to cut anything off, you can just remove the blade and do everything right on the edge of the foot. Here is the stitch finger. Now the stitch finger is located right underneath this foot. There's a little arrow head there. I don't know if you can see it, I'll get my tweezers. So as you can see, there's a little arrow head there. Now when you're doing a rolled hem, you'd transfer and change all the settings into a rolled hem, make the stitch length really close together. Show at the side here. So the stitch length is here. If we were doing a rolled hem, we'd take it down to R. So that would be like a satin stitch on our sewing machine. But I'm going to take it back up to 3 for now. But we also, to enable us to roll the fabric round, we change the setting here on the side from standard to roll, and we bring our stitch finger away. So to do that, we push the blade out of the way. So you have to have the blade out of the way. Then we push this little knob at the side. Can you see that? So you push that knob in at the side, which releases the lower blade, and then we can flick the stitch finger out of the way. So it literally just comes back. So can you see it moving? So it won't move if I've not moved the lower blade. So you have to move the lower blade out of the way by pushing this, and then that can be engaged or not engaged. And it's a little S and an R on there for normal stitching, or for a rolled hem. There's an R down here. So I'm going to put it all back as it was. Everything's as it should be. Stitch lengths are usually 2.5 or 3, differential feed on 1, standard overlocking. So that's there. And I'm going to do what a lot of people go, oh my goodness, I'm going to literally cut the threads, because we're going to rethread. So let's rethread this. We can help guide the threads out. The presser foot is up, so that means these tension discs are open, and I should be able to just pull this thread, and that all just comes away. So let me just take all these threads off, and I'm going to thread it up with different colour threads. Now this machine, it's lovely and compact. So this bit actually clicks up like that. So it's quite nice if you've got a bit of a lack of space. But I'm removing the cones, because I'm going to be using these smaller threads. And it just makes life a little bit easier. So first thing we're going to do, as always with an overlocker, and especially with JANOME, we start on the right. So we're doing the lower looper first, and the lower looper is the notorious one. It's the only looper that can be a right little pickle. Doesn't matter where these ones sit. I think it probably goes here. And there's little colour codes on here as well. So we're doing the green, literally push it through there. Come this side. I'm just going to go through one of them. It will be fine. When you might need to go through both is if you've got like a metallic thread or something that's quite unravelly or unruly. So here are the tension discs in here. And I wonder if you can see them operate when you put your presser foot down. Oh, can you see that? It's like a little pair of cymbals. So they must be open with the presser foot up, so as the thread can sit through. And then when we go to sew, we put the presser foot down and it closes those cymbals. Actually, probably, I'm not going to put it in that one. I'm going to put it in the bottom one because it kind of seems to go better. That bottom one. I like to use a pair of tweezers. I find it just easier, especially my sausage fingers. So we're just following it nicely down through. So look at this symbol here. It then goes through that marking. Any of you with the model below this will know what a pickle the lower looper is to thread. Mimi is holding the camera and she is also nodding her head, because what it doesn't have, and what this one does have, is a little gadget to help us thread that lower looper. So I'm just following all the little green holes, but also making sure that nothing is twisted on the way. Now, this here is the lower looper. And on other machines, you have to get your thread back through here and then poke it back through there. But this one has got a little special gadget. So we need to make sure our needles are in the upright position. They are. And I'm just going to now flick this little hand wheel here, flick it up. And by doing so, it exposes this bit of green here. May not see it through with my fingers because I'm in a funny position now. I might have to get in there. Go on, there. That's gone in there. And it's also exposed this little hook here. Can you see that on the end of my tweezers. So I just hook that around there like so. Now this is where I am actually going to remove my blade, because by having the blade not there, it helps when we get to the next stage when we're doing this looper and the upper looper, and I'll explain why in a minute. So this is then going to go through the lower looper eye. I may need to just get that looper out the way so as I can see better. Poke it in. Go on. There we are. So make sure it doesn't catch on anything else. And now, before I do anything, so this is where you'd have to try and fiddle and get under there, but I just bring it out to the side because the blade's not there, and then it goes in the right position. Did you see how that works? It kind of goes where it's meant to go, under the upper looper. So that makes that really nice and easy. So that is the awful one done. What we can do is bring this back down. There we are. So that little hook's disappeared again. So next one we're going to do is our red thread, which is our upper looper. So I'm going to stand that one on the back, and there's a little hole for it there. Bring it round and through the little hole. Sometimes these bits are the worst bits. Whoops, sorry, Amy. Obviously our tension discs are open, so that's going to go through there. That's going to go through there. There's a little red knob there. Clicks in like so. There's another one here. Like that. And then let's get the looper in the right place. So there's a little slit here at the top of the looper, which is just there. And now I just need to thread the eye of that looper. So I'm just going to close this off because we don't need that open. Although I do need to remember to bring the blade back up. So I'm going to do that in a minute. Just going to close this. Have a nice tight, or a nice sharp. So I've got threads over everything. Threads wrapped around my scissors. Right, a nice sharp point of my thread, cut it on a bit of an angle like so, and then thread the upper looper. There we are. This is why tweezers are so much easier now, because we've still got the blade down. We can literally just skit it around the side, and that also is in the perfect position. So before I do anything else, I'm going to bring the blade back up. So I'm going to push and twist until it clicks and locks. That's it. Okay, so now that's the loopers done. We're just going to put on our blue thread. So the thread comes up, goes through the little blue hole there, through the hole in the back, and through the tension discs. Again, we're just going across, up and around. And then there's two little holes here going on the right one because we're using the right needle. And below that and into that needle guard. I might as well put the orange one on now as well. And then I can put the pressure foot down to thread the needles, so it just makes life a little easier. So orange thread in. Entangled with threads as per usual. I know using tweezers can feel a little bit strange, but honestly it is the easiest thing once you master them to thread an overlocker. So this is coming up and around and going to the left hand side because it's the left needle, and there we are. So it's just so as we make sure we get our needles in the upright position, which is there. You'll notice with the needles, with all overlockers, let me put the presser foot down now because I can, because the tension discs have received the thread, but you will notice that the needles are always the the right hand needle is always lower than the left hand needle, and that's normal, that's standard. So it's just a little longer because it's the right hand needle that hits the, or not hits, but gets the lower looper, and it's the left hand needle that gets the upper looper. So that's why they're at an angle. And whilst we're here talking about needles, very important that you use the proper needles in your overlocker. So with JANOME, they do stipulate that you should use only the HA1SP needle, which is on the JANOME pack is known as the super stretch. So let's just get this threaded. Won't be able to pull this thread now, obviously, because we've put the tension, we've put the press foot down and the tension discs are now closed over the thread. But it will just hopefully be enough for me just to thread that needle. It does come with a little needle threader in the pack. Usually I'm quite good at threading these. I might just need to cut that into a bit more of an angle. Let me just see, because it's... Give it another go. Sometimes I have too much light shining on it. Has it gone through? No. Just a little bit of white fabric or a bit of card behind sometimes helps. Is that done? Yeah. There we are. That's the blue one. Take that behind without wrapping around anything else. Now the left hand needle. Oh, straight in there. It's always satisfying. Again, make sure it doesn't tangle on anything. I usually now lift my presser foot and tuck those threads underneath it. There we are. That's this overlocker threaded. So proof is in the pudding. Put the presser foot down. I've got a piece of just cream fabric, so hopefully you'll be able to see it. Always just give everything a visual before you start your overlocking. Just it all looks clear down there. Pretty sure it's all right. The presser foot was up when we threaded it. It's just down when we did the needles. So literally, this should work. Chain, off to the side, beautiful. So there we are, that's the green lower looper with the right hand needle thread. You can just see the blue there. And then we've got the red upper looper with the orange needle thread there. But I'm sure you'll agree that's a really lovely overlock, and it's a super machine. Really, really pleased. So if you're interested in having a go, coming to test drive, pop in to see us in Petersfield in Hampshire, or give us a call or send us an email, and we can always FaceTime you anyway. And as with anything, we give you lots of support. So this is a fabulous overlocker. This is the JANOME 6234XL. Thank you.